Helena Petrovna Blavatsky, one of the most enigmatic and influential figures in the history of modern spirituality, was born on August 12, 1831 in Yekaterinoslav, part of the Russian Empire, today's Dnipro, Ukraine. Her story is a complex weave of noble lineage, philosophical insight, global travel, and spiritual innovation. To understand Blavatsky is to explore the very heart of the Theosophical movement and the emergence of Eastern philosophies in Western thought. Childhood and early influences. Helena was born to a noble family. Her father, Colonel Peter von Hahn, was of German descent, while her mother, Helena Andreevna Fadiyeva, was a prolific Russian novelist. The maternal lineage was steeped in intellectual pursuit. Her grandfather, Andrei Mikhailovich Fadyev, was a high-ranking official in the Russian government and a prominent figure in scientific circles. From an early age, Helena exhibited remarkable psychic abilities. She claimed to see spirits and hear voices, experiences that frightened yet fascinated those around her. Her mother died when Helena was just 11 years old, a loss that seemed to deepen her connection to the mysterious and metaphysical. Raised partially by her grandparents, Helena grew up in an environment filled with books, art, and esoteric lore. A brief marriage and the call of the unknown. At 17, Helena entered into a short-lived and troubled marriage with Nikifor Blavatsky, a much older man. The marriage ended quickly, and Helena left him to begin a life of travel and self-discovery. She wandered across the globe for over 2 decades, travels that she later claimed were guided by spiritual masters and hidden adepts. Helena's journeys allegedly took her to Egypt, Greece, France, and even to the Americas. However, the most significant destination was India, and possibly Tibet. Blavatsky stated that during her time in the East, she was initiated into secret spiritual teachings by a group of advanced beings known as the Mahatmas, or Masters. Chief among them were Maurya and Kuthomi. She never provided concrete evidence of these visits, and her claims have been a subject of debate and skepticism ever since. Arrival in America and the birth of Theosophy. In 1873, Blavatsky arrived in New York City. Here she would meet Colonel Henry Steele Olcott, a lawyer and journalist, who would become her most loyal collaborator. Together, on November 17, 1875, they founded the Theosophical Society. The movement was revolutionary in its aims, to form a nucleus of universal brotherhood, to encourage the comparative study of religion, science, and philosophy, and to investigate the unexplained laws of nature and latent powers in humanity. Blavatsky's charisma, unusual spiritual knowledge, and bold philosophical ideas attracted many followers. The society became a hub for those disillusioned with materialism and dogmatic religion, offering instead a synthesis of Eastern wisdom and Western esotericism. Isis Unveiled and Rising Fame. In 1877, Blavatsky published her first major work, Isis Unveiled. Spanning over 1,300 pages, it was a tour de force of metaphysics, occultism, and comparative religion. The book attacked the scientific materialism of the time, criticized organized religion, and promoted ancient wisdom as a key to understanding the universe. Although dismissed by many scholars for its erratic citations and sweeping generalizations, Isis Unveiled became a bestseller and solidified her status as a leading spiritual thinker. Relocation to India and the peak of activity. In 1879, Blavatsky and Olcott moved the headquarters of the Theosophical Society to Adyar, near Madras, now Chennai, India. In India, she found a receptive audience among Hindus and Buddhists, many of whom saw her as a bridge between East and West. Her presence in India coincided with a revival of interest in Indian spiritual traditions among the educated classes. Blavatsky's claims of communicating with Mahatmas became central to her teachings. Letters from the masters were delivered mysteriously to society members some appearing in locked rooms or materializing in front of witnesses. These phenomena brought both awe and suspicion, the Coulomb affair and public controversy. In 1884, Blavatsky's reputation suffered a serious blow. Emma and Alexis Coulomb, former associates of the Society, accused her of faking psychic phenomena. They produced letters that allegedly proved she had orchestrated fraud. These claims led the British Society for Psychical Research, SPR, to launch an investigation. The final SPR report concluded that Blavatsky was a clever charlatan, a judgment that would stain her public image for years. Yet some researchers and theosophists later challenged the authenticity of the Coulomb letters and the impartiality of the SPR report. The debate over Blavatsky's legitimacy continues even today. Return to Europe and continued work. Disheartened and ailing, Blavatsky left India in 1885 and settled in Europe, eventually making London her base. Despite worsening health, she continued to work tirelessly. In 1888, she published her magnum opus, The Secret Doctrine, a massive 2-volume work that expanded on the esoteric cosmology she had introduced in Isis Unveiled. The Secret Doctrine was presented as a commentary on the stanzas of Dzyan, texts she claimed to have translated from an ancient secret language called Senzar. It explored the origins of the universe, the evolution of humanity, and the role of divine beings in cosmic history. The work blended Hindu, Buddhist, Gnostic, and Kabbalistic thought into a grand spiritual vision. Blavatsky also founded the esoteric section of the Theosophical Society in 1888 to offer deeper instruction to serious students. Her teachings became more structured, focusing on self-discipline, meditation, and moral purity as paths to enlightenment. Final years and death. Blavatsky's health deteriorated in the final years of her life. She suffered from heart disease, kidney problems, and complications from earlier accidents. Nonetheless, she continued writing, mentoring, and corresponding with followers around the world. She passed away on May 8, 1891, at the age of 59. That day is now commemorated as White Lotus Day by theosophists worldwide. Her cremation in London was attended by many admirers and spiritual seekers. Legacy and influence. Helena Blavatsky left behind a complex and enduring legacy. She played a pivotal role in introducing Eastern philosophies to the West, decades before such ideas gained mainstream acceptance. Her writings helped shape the intellectual foundation of the New Age movement, and her influence can be seen in later figures such as Rudolf Steiner, Jiddu Krishnamurti, Carl Jung, and even Joseph Campbell. The Theosophical Society continues to operate globally, with branches in over 50 countries. Its principles of universal brotherhood, spiritual inquiry, and the synthesis of science and mysticism remain relevant to seekers today. Yet Blavatsky remains a controversial figure. To admirers, she was a spiritual genius, a pioneer of modern esotericism, and a fearless rebel against dogma and hypocrisy. To skeptics, she was a self-taught mystic with a flair for drama and deception. Regardless of the viewpoint, her impact on the spiritual and philosophical thought of the modern world is undeniable. Helena Blavatsky challenged her era to look beyond the material and the literal, to seek wisdom in the mysteries of life and consciousness. Her life invites us still to question, to wonder, and to search for the deeper truths that unite us all.